Hi, this is Margaret from Margaret's Crafts, and this is a scrapbook page that I made using the new Cricut cartridge October 31st. It's one of the seasonal cartridges, but what I wanted to show you was that in these cartridges they don't give you a shadow or a blackout for the items, and on things like this Trick or Treat. Okay, as you can see in this cut, we have all of the cutout pieces here and here are all cut out. But when you would have to try to put it behind something. So I just did a little trick with the Gypsy, which you can do on Design Studio, of creating my own not shadow but blackout for this cut, so that when I put the piece of orange paper behind it and did the cut, you can see where the orange is right behind there, and I don't have to try to stick something behind there. This is how the cut looks. There is no blackout, there is no shadow for this cartridge. So this is what you get even if you cut it twice to put something, you know, to have the background filled, because I didn't really like that sitting on my paper. And the same thing went with the pumpkin. The same thing went with the pumpkin. The pumpkin is cut out, you know, with all these lines in it, but I didn't want all those lines to show through when I was doing it. Now I want to show you a few things on my layout that I did. Okay, with my glitter, with my my Gypsy, I also stretched my spider web because I wanted it to be a little longer than, you know, the dimensions. So all you do is you hit your unlock key for your height and then hit your width, and I stretched it out as far as I wanted it to be. And down for my spider, I made a spider's web just out of, I stickled over my my spider's web to make it look to make it glisten, like, you know how you see spider webs glistening. So then I took my stickles and I just did a little crooked line here and connected the spider below it, so it looks like the spider was coming down on his web. On the spider, I just took some pop dots, some dimensionals, and I cut them in half or in fourth, or I don't remember exactly, to put right behind the spider. Then his legs, I kind of like bent them down, so when I put him on, they weren't sticking straight out. Like some of them are sticking out a little bit because that's how he's crawling. The rest of them, the page, they're laying down against the page. They're not glued down though, so that it looks like the spider is dimensional. On the bat, he is so small, I really had to cut some out and put some dimensionals behind them to make him look like he's flying. The pumpkin, I cut out twice. One with my shadow method, and that was a little trickier to do. And one with the regular method, but then I cut out the vining because it all cuts out the same color. So I cut out the vining part and threw that away because I wanted the green vining. And then I put my pumpkin on top, and he has a little bit of green, and then he has the green stem because he's not quite done yet. You can see that on my page. Okay, now I'll show you how I did these different ideas that I had. To work with it, I like to bring it up close, a closer image. So you hit the silver up key, hold it down, and tap on your design to enlarge it. Now I want to get rid of this stuff in the middle. So this one is very easy to do. You hit your hide contour features. You go into your advance. You hit your advance key. go into hide contour, which is those angled lines, and it'll start highlighting in red what we want to hide. Okay, I want to hide this one, hit hide, then it'll jump to the next. You hit next and it'll hide that one, then you hit next, and whichever is red it will hide. So you keep on through this same program, making sure that I'm only leaving the outside. I'm not going to be able to get, though, these cuts that go up and down because they're connected to one whole cut. You can't get rid of that. If you get rid of that, it'll wipe off the outside and just leave whatever's there. I want the shape of the outside. So this is how I got it. I just hit my hide. This one for the pumpkin. The pumpkin was a little harder to do. It wasn't really harder. It was just a little trickier. Okay, let's get a close-up in on that pumpkin. As you can see, the pumpkin has all of these lines. But the part about the pumpkin is that all of these are one straight cut. So I can't get rid of any of those. But this is how I managed to do it. I'm going to go into another program. Let's see. I'm going to go into another program, which I use Georgian Basic Shapes to get my shapes that I want. And what I did was I brought in this small little oval here and the circle. Now for my oval, let me unlock these. For my oval, I fitted that in because my circle, I could take a circle, put it in, and then just enlarge it till it filled the center of my page and covering what I wanted it to cover. But the only thing was it extended it out too far. Up over here, up past there. So you got to be careful with that and keep an eye on that. See, it filled it up past his little stem. So I had to make that a little smaller and then bring it down because I wanted it to cover the bottom. Now that I got that the way I wanted it, I took those little ovals that I had. I think I'm going to make another one. I'm just going to bring these up here for now. And I took those little ovals, and then for these lines that didn't fit, I kind of like shrunk them down to the size that I think I needed. I turned them a little bit to be able to sit the way that I wanted them to rotate. And then I just put them also in, covering those spots till I get the size that I needed it to cover that space. Now what I did was I went back in and still in advance, I welded them. Okay, now you can see my finished cut. And this is going to be my shadow one. And that's how I did the shadowing on those two items. Thanks for watching my videos.